messages. Oh my gosh. Good
And we are
morning.
live.
Good morning. We are live. Good morning. So we're having some tech issues this morning, and we're gonna rock it anyway. We're able to go
Good morning,
live
folks.
and share with you
Welcome to
guys
the
on this
Cassandra
Focus
Terry
Friday.
Morning Show.
Eric, did you want to
Cassandra
welcome the
Terry, the
people and say good
mindset coach
morning
and
as I pull up
founder
quote?
of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family.
They're playing our
once again.
intro.
First, we've
Oh,
got
we
Brian
can't do it.
Smiley,
You'd have to
Mr.
sing it
Content
because
and Dad
even though
Creator.
she
No,
made us
Striking a
live,
Cassandra's
perfect
playing the
balance
intro.
between raising his youngest daughter
she can't
and
do it.
creating
She can only
masterful
make us go
content.
live. So I don't think she
Next,
can do it.
meet
If she can,
Denise
she would
Annalise
play it.
Phillips,
But
the gig
yeah,
expert and relentless
because
traveler
she's not
and
technically
writer.
there. She could just
She
make us
turns
go
every
live.
gig
So anyway,
into
good
an
morning.
adventure.
It
Then
is
there's
Focus
Jay
Friday.
Pasquale, the storytelling
I am
strategist,
looking for
a
our
poet
quote.
and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. And wrapping it up, we have Eric Clark, the soul speaker and author. He's here to soulfully help you craft your story and narrative. Get ready
And
for a
we all
show
have
filled
tech issues.
with
Welcome back,
wisdom,
Tammy.
inspiration,
How
and
are
the
you this
magic
morning
of
on
family.
Focus Friday?
Let's welcome
I'm doing
Cassandra Terry
great.
and the rest of the fam fire.
Okay. She was able, look at technology, y'all. She was able to get us live, even
We
though
are
she's not
here.
really present. I'm trying to fix my setup. We are live. She's not able to hit the normal, what I was trying to say, Eric, sorry about that. She's not able to hit the normal buttons, but she was able to at least go live, and she'll be able to end the show when it's time to end it. And what I'm doing is scrolling up to give you guys the quote. So we can't play our lovely intro or necessarily put the quote on the screen, but that's okay.
I
We
actually
can
heard the
see it.
intro.
Did you?
I
Oh, I
heard it.
couldn't hear anything. I can't hear.
You can hear? Yeah, I heard
Uh,
it.
oh,
hmm
so was I talking during it?
You were talking towards the end of it, yes.
Really?
We were
Oh,
doing the applause and and
really?
it's
That's
all
what.
good. We were kind of bopping to it.
Oh, so it wasn't a request to play it. You were telling me it was playing.
It was playing.
Oh, do either of you guys have the quote handy?
Yes, I have it right
Okay.
here. It's
You
on
want to
I
read
have it
it?
on my phone. The
Okay.
quote is success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out by Robert Collier. And I'll read it again. Is success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. So that's the quote for today on Focus Friday.
Okay. How's it hitting you this morning?
And the first thing I thought about, actually, I was at home. I've gotten into this thing where I've been watching like Nigerian movies, Nollywood, and
Oh, I
which I
love me some
love.
wood.
I love Nollywood movies.
Me too.
And I heard a quote, and in the movie, it's this guy said, "If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you." And so when I read that quote, I was like, I think the focus for me is on finding things that challenge me. And even more so, not running from things that challenge me, because I think sometimes we get out of our comfort zone, or we get into things that are like, oh, this is uncomfortable, this is not my norm, this is not what I normally do, and then we run back to where we're comfortable. And that does not create change, it does not create newness. And so my focus and on my journey right now, one of my focuses is to not say self fulfilling prophecies like, well, that's just how I am. Because I feel like when we say things like, well, that's just how I am, in some way we're assigning ourselves to be a certain way, and we're not allowing for newness to happen. So that was the first thing I thought about when I read that quote, is to focus on, allowing the universe and God to bring in the opportunity for newness in us and to change. And because you don't want to be stuck in one place or be one way all your life, because you miss out on so many blessings. So that was one of my thoughts when I read the quote.
I like that. I like that. I do have a question for you. Based
Mhm.
on that, when you Do you find yourself telling yourself things where you then have to tell yourself something different? How do you get that mind shift so you can allow the growth in? Do you recognize it first, or do you see it after the fact, or you see it kind of coming? You know, do you get any triggers, or how do you recognize it so that you can switch up and go in the right direction?
Because I've recognized myself saying what I just said. Well, that's just how I am, and I think that triggers me to be like, oh, don't do that. That kind of, and there's nothing wrong with having certain ways about you. That's not the problem. The problem is assigning that statement to yourself, because I think that's a comfort zone. It's like a warm blanket. So we don't invite change when we are just saying, well, that's just, that's how I am. These are the things I do. So I try to create an open space for myself, and I try to put myself in places where I'm uncomfortable, around people that are smarter than me or maybe more successful than, or, you know, um, whatnot, be in, areas where, I'm, reading books that I'm not familiar with, right? I was on the phone with a friend of mine last night. He's a wordsmith. I mean, we went to high school together, and there's not a word in the dictionary he does not know. And so he was talking about something, and he said a word, and he was like, Tammy, do you know what that means? And I was like, no. So it's important to be around people who are going to enlighten you, inspire you. So I think for me, it's just recognizing that I'm not closing myself off, but keeping myself open to, opportunities of change and newness. So
I love that. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning.
good morning, Jay.
What's up, Jay? What's up, Jay?
uh, Life and you know things happen,
Yes,
and
they do.
so I think that it's appropriate that we're talking about Focus Friday. Um, there needs to be accountability on certain things when we're talking about focus, and in my frailty as a human being, I done messed up, man. And I know I did, and I apologize to the fam this morning because I pulled an all nighter. Um, and I stay up pretty late, but today I really pulled an all nighter, and I was like, okay, let me just make sure I take care of a few things, and a few things turned into, oh my gosh, I'm actually asleep. Let me wake up, and here I am, and I have to apologize. And I'm going to do it publicly because there's, when we're here together, we rely on each other, and when you don't show up like you're supposed to, you you got to be held accountable. And if the people around you don't do it, you got to do it for yourself. And that's what I'm doing right now is I'm holding myself accountable in front of everybody to apologize, because this is important. Showing up for your family and showing up for the audience who rely upon you for what you're supposed to be doing is important. And so publicly, I'm coming out and saying I'm holding myself accountable, and I apologize to my family for not being here. But I will say that I'm working on my book, which was what was keeping me up all night, and that was my focus. So here's the lesson. Here's the lesson. Here's the lesson. Do not be focused on one thing, that the most important thing um, is put on the wayside, right? Whatever that focus is, um, do not forget that there are people that rely upon you, right? That's the lesson. And as I was listening, that's what came to mind immediately to me. And so, I deserve a tongue lashing and everything else that's coming. So, but I want everybody to understand that they still love me, but I know I messed up, and I don't want anybody to feel like the fam is gonna do that or be crazy to me or whatever. That's not how they operate, not at all. But at the same time, you gotta do what you gotta do. I always talk about showing up and showing out, and I showed up, but I also showed out in a way that
But we forgive you. We forgive
I
you.
see.
I
You
forgive you
see,
Can,
for sure.
can I
You know what I
say,
mean?
Jay?
So we,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I
What's
can,
up?
Oh, go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step over you. Go ahead and finish what you were saying. Speak for
I would
yourself.
just say I think I can speak for us when I say we forgive you. We don't hold you accountable.
Uh oh.
We're all motivated and pushing you to do that. So we certainly forgive you and thank you for holding yourself accountable. We
Okay.
I
forgive you,
wanted
Jay.
I
Okay.
wanted to say, Jay, that all is well. We had some tech issues this morning, and Sister Cassandra did what she do, and she got us started, which was beautiful. As far as this thing of holding yourself accountable, that's just being the man that you are. I want to say that what I don't want to hear is that you're putting your health and your wellness and your mental state of mind on the back burner for your book, because I'm working on mine too, and I was on a critical part of it yesterday, a real critical part of it yesterday, and I saw you guys last night. You saw how tired I was. I almost made like coffee, mocha, espresso. I know how to do so I can get my brain to respond so I can stay up. But I want to say that my number one focus, I just put a post on yesterday about it. My number one focus is my health and my wellness first, because without it, none of the rest of this matters. If I fall
Yeah.
down, the book's not going to matter. If I can't walk, my health is really, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I took a day yesterday, even when I put that up, and I said, going into 2024, I'm not making resolutions. I am focused on some goals. Some people will call those resolutions, but I'm not making those, because resolutions, that tone, that word for me, it means like this only for the new year thing. And then come March, it's right. But those goals and
Hmm.
objectives I've set for myself for the whole year are going to sustain me for the next year and the next year. I want you to start putting your health first. I want Jay to put Jay first. I want Jay to put Renee first. I want Jay to say, if Jay ain't good, nobody around him is good. Because if your vehicle is empty,
Hmm.
we're going to all be stranded on the side of the road. We're with you. We're with you whether you're here physically or not. We're with you. So, no, no, we like that you held yourself accountable, but that little apology, we're going to kick that to the curb because it's not needed. We love you. Tech issues happen, life happens. I just don't like hearing that you stayed up all night burning both candles when you just got well. I don't even think you're 100%. I think some of you, let me look closely. I think some of you is faking it. You know, I think some of you is faking it. Y'all know how that is. You still got the stuff going here. You
Hmm.
be fighting it. You drinking all kinds of stuff, and you come and you put on your little
Oh yeah.
happy face. Like that's what Jay is doing. So I appreciate you showing up. I think, like Eric said, it speak for all of us that there's even nothing to be forgiven as much as we respect that you hold yourself accountable. Like I love that, but it's Focus Friday. Jay need to be focused on Jay first, because I know you want to be there for Renee and your kids and your family and for
Mhm.
us and for anybody that shows up for you. I think you even think on that sub level of being there for your readers of your newsletter, being there for the people who follow you, being there for your connections. I think you think on a whole nother level that you're really there for people. You have such a service like mentality and spirit, but you got to take care of yourself.
Mm.
So I ain't trying to hear no more all nighters. Don't tell me that again. You might get a little spanking, tell me that again. Don't tell me you pulling all nighters again. Find a way to relax Find a way to meditate out. Something works different for everybody. It's different for all of us. What helps you relax at night, because that is focus on your health. Whatever helps you relax. It could be a movie. That's not keeping you
Yeah.
from writing your book. It could be relaxing with a silly movie, something that just takes your brain away from everything. If that's what it takes, sit your butt down on the couch and watch a movie. It's
Uh,
not getting away from your goal. I mean, for me, that does work. I happen to be currently falling asleep on movies when I start watching because my focus is on that. When the sun goes down, I'm telling you, I start getting tired automatically.
Man,
My brain thinks it's late, even though it's only what 7:30 now. The sun is going down. I'm like, it's only 7:30. You can't be sleepy. So anyway, all that said, I would really love to see all of us as individuals focus on our health first, including our mental health, our spiritual health, so we can bring our best selves to the whole team, to the table, and to whatever we're putting out in the world. I just
man.
would love to see that.
You see, and this is the fan five. I told you.
A little
And
lash, a little hug, you know.
I'm telling you, this is how we show up for each other. Seriously, this is a prime example of how we show up for each other. And you can't beat that. You can't beat that for being together to put something out there for the people and for each other. And yeah, it's I should know better, and that's my sister right there, because Cassandra's showing up for her people, even though she's in the midst of doing what she got to do, and then Denise showing up for me in this way, and the focus, right? The focus, the example, better than anything that could have happened today, because the way it was supposed to happen.
Mhm.
And um yeah, and the message that needed to be heard, not only for me, somebody else needed to hear that message today. It's turning out to be something even deeper than just me making an apology. It's also me having to understand that I need to apologize to myself. That accountability is something that I struggle with, because I think we all do, right? We want to be able to be there for everybody. But if
Hmm.
if we
Mhm.
can't if we can't be there for the people that we're supposed to be showing up for because we're in the hospital,
Right?
yeah, there's no monetizing death.
No,
Well,
there's no
well,
coming
actually,
back
well,
from that.
well, you know what I,
actually,
I mean,
Well,
it, from the dude that
just
died.
from the dude that
you ever watch Shark Tank? Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank says it's one of the weddings and death. They're the top. They're the top. Anytime he hears an idea in the wedding industry or in like funerals or death industry, he's interested because they are the top performing industries when it comes to just dollars and cents. That's what Mr. Wonderful says.
Yeah, I know, I
I
know.
don't want to be on that side of it, you
Right,
know.
that's the other
Yeah,
part. On the other side, there's no monetizing that. On the other side, yeah, absolutely.
yeah. There's no monetizing it for us unless there's something you know that I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Don't want to find out either. Um, but before we go any further, I'm gonna read a verse which I think is appropriate in this moment. Psalms 101, right? Chapter 101, verse 3. And it's, I will not look with approval on anything that is vile. I hate what faithless people do. I will have no part in it. And my faith is um is deep in this moment, because of certain things, and because of the message that's being received in this moment, and the message that others are hearing in this moment. Um, and the word vile, that's a strong word. And if you think about it, when when you're so worried about showing up that it it works out that you're so obsessed that it harms you, then that is vile. It's vile to the people who depend upon you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So the very thing that you're focused on, right? Because I want to show up by producing this book for my people, right? For the people that depend upon me, that I've lost the true focus of really showing up for my people. And so this is this is something that was supposed to happen. You know, it, things don't happen the way that they should. And I'm gonna say I'm appreciative and of the familial bond that we have and that's been created enough that they love me in spite of what I did, but they're gonna love me enough to show me, yeah, you messed up, but not in the way you think, dude. And so refocus, brother. And and Denise is absolutely right. She's absolutely right. Wow, well, what a message today, in the way that it was supposed to happen. So, um, I appreciate it, and with all my heart, and so thank you, thank you for that lesson.
Thank you for always showing up, Jay. Like you literally always show up for everybody. Tammy, I know you're new to our group, but when I say this brother always shows up, there's not a person that I think he deals with that wouldn't say,
Wow.
you can count on Jay to always show up. So, that's just the way it is. You give
Right.
back what you give. You get back so much because you give so much of yourself. So, that being said, Eric, we should pitch it over to you so you can get your feel, get your piece in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I, just listening to Jay. I mean, I feel like blossoming right in front of us, brother. I mean, I certainly wanted to, um, and in our conversations, give you a hug because I see and I feel that you are like you stepping into that, brother. Um, and I know that that book is gonna be done, right? So you don't have to beat yourself over the head for it because it's getting there, and we're right behind you and supporting you the whole way. So, um, yeah, brother, I just was really feeling you when you were speaking and sharing with us, and I appreciate your vulnerability and you sharing and open up so that we could pour into you because we know that right now your cup's not full, and we want to be there for you to make sure so you can show up for us the way that you want to. I remember when you shared your resume with me. It makes me think of that story. Just going through your experience, like, man, this brother has been everywhere and done everything, won awards, and really a master storyteller. Even comes out um, in that recall of your professional experience. So um, we believe in you. We know that you are within hands grasp of everything that you've written and prepared as your goals. So we support you, brother. We here for you. We know you're right there, and so we're gonna help you get there. Sister Denise was right on point, saying that it does you no good for you to be unhealthy and do it, and those conversations we do uh, like last night and nights previous. So I want you to be healthy, brother. We definitely gonna stay tapped in and checked in with one another as far as staying healthy during this process. So it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't mean anything for us to gain everything and lose ourselves. So um, we're definitely gonna stay plugged in, tapped in to one another, checking in with one another, and make sure that we're connected and aligned in that health goal. Brother, praying for you. I know that it's a difficult time, but this too shall pass in Granny's words, for sure. I'll kick it back over to you, Sister Niece.
I was over here saying I loved it. I was like, all I didn't even realize I was muted. But I wanted to say one thing. I do have to tap out right at 10 regarding the quote. So, like Jay said, I mean, we're all working on something. Tammy, I know you're working on a masterful uh, what is the women's empowerment? Is it an expo summit or a conference for May? I know
Yeah.
Eric is working on several things, including putting out his Grounding with Granny newsletter like daily with fantastic content. And Jay, I think you and I are similar in that we're working on a book, and then behind the scenes, these all this other stuff. And sometimes it's hard to focus up on that one project. So what really hit me with this quote, it was the timing on it was perfect. That's why I love that Cassandra pulls out the quotes, and they always hit me because they're with what's going on, like with me, in that day. So this quote, I looked at my progress on the book. I hadn't looked back. Because sometimes you know how you can over edit. You go back and you edit yourself, and you're wasting time doing that. Oh, I don't like the way that. You'll be rewriting a chapter, never getting the other chapters written. And I have been doing that. And I had talked to a writing coach I had years ago who said, stop doing that. Are you still going back looking at the previous? And I was like, well, yeah, because as you go into the new chapter, he said, stop doing that. I want you to stop and just open up wherever you're working at, open up your drive, open up your word, whatever you're working on, and just continue with the thoughts you have because you can organize the book at any time. You can cut and paste, move it around, right? I've been practicing his method, not always easy. Sometimes I have to make myself be like, don't go back. Just type what's in my mind, type the ideas, and keep going. When I looked at that sucker yesterday morning, I think it was, or Tuesday morning, I couldn't believe how much writing I got done. I got so much writing done because each day I've taken a little bit and just typed in, or I've taken ideas. I woke up one night, I wrote it down real quick. I typed that chapter up. I never went back. So there's something to be said for those small efforts, day in, day out. And of course, we're also talking about book writing techniques. Everybody has a technique, but sometimes you have to change up what you do, try something new, and maybe need a reminder from somebody who remembers how you work. So when I had that conversation with him, it was just sort of random. And he said that, he said, stop going back, stop being a self editor, stop being your worst critic, and just flow. So sometimes for some people that's in a little mic, they use their phone and use a little audio. For me, I just kept writing, and I'm really shocked at how much I actually got done without going back and looking back at what I did. But I'm gonna spend some time today doing that little organizing it, and then continue on with that technique. So I just love that. I wanted to contribute that as far as the the quote goes today, because it's sum of small efforts, and since we're a lot of us are working on books, all those small parts are going to add up to completed chapters and eventually add up to a completed book. And that's a beautiful feeling. So I love the quote. I don't know, Tammy, if you had something. I saw you kind of mouth something. I was thinking Tammy had something to contribute, but maybe in line with your event that's coming up, how you get to that big picture, because it's a lot
Yeah.
to do. It's a lot to do.
It's a
And I
lot to
will
do.
tap
It's a
out, you
lot.
guys. I want to say I'm sorry. I do have to tap out. I have a conflict. It's going to be in about 5 or 10 minutes. You guys will see me disappear. Happy Focus Friday. Thank you, Tammy, for being here. Uh, and
Absolutely.
and I wanted to thank everybody, that's here for us being patient with each other. Because when tech issues happen, it's really easy to get frustrated. So we're all patient with each other. Love all of y'all. I appreciate that, and it helps me grow my patience and my tolerance. Go ahead, Tammy.
Have a great
Same.
Friday. Have a great weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I was
Thank
just
you,
going to
sister.
say, you know, everything in order to accomplish our goals, right? It's like one small bite at a time. It doesn't matter what your goal is, whether you're writing a book or you're, building a house or you're, working on your financial goals. I did a financial conference a couple months ago, and one of the things and I'm constantly learning, is it's people think that, oh my, I can't invest in anything unless I have 50,000, 100,000, thousand. No, you can start investing with $500, $50. Really, it's about the discipline and the focus of what you're trying to achieve. It's one small bite at a time. And sometimes I think in this world, we believe that we have to have it all together in order to be successful, to move forward and to do something. And that is just, it's crazy. And I do that to myself. I'm speaking to myself too, because I put that pressure on myself. Like, I can't do this because I haven't mastered all of this. Well, you can't get to that space without first taking these small incremental steps. So small efforts repeated day in and day out. It could be the gym. I want to work out. I want to lose weight. Well, you got to get up every morning and maybe go for a walk. Maybe watch what you're eating every single meal. Not, it doesn't have to be some whopping, well, I'm not going to eat any more carbs for the rest of my life. Sometimes we just go off the deep end. Again, I'm talking to myself. But it's important to understand, like, small little things turn into an amazing success, and before you know it, you wake up and you have changed. You have made it to where you wanted to go, but it does take small efforts. So when you are trying to achieve something, be mindful that any incremental change every single day will make a difference. It's about consistency and focus. And I think consistency is key, because as long as we stay consistent on what we're doing and we stay focused on what we're trying to achieve, we will get there. When it comes to anything, writing a book, event planning, your health, Jay, back to the health, um, all of that, incremental changes. You wake up and you meditate before you start writing that book. You walk away, for moments at a time, take a break, take some deep breaths, and just focus on your health, focus on how you're feeling in the moment. So any little change you make in your day-to-day life will start to manifest into a bigger picture. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that a lot of us are still trying to wrap our heads around. And how do
hmm
we do that? Um, a mentor of mine told me a long time ago, do you understand the word compartmentalize? And I was like, okay, yes, I do. And he then followed up with, have you also heard the word live in your calendar? Where it's, uh-oh, yeah, I can't hear you, Denise. What are you saying?
Oh, I was really talking to myself. I said, did he say live in your calendar? I don't think I've heard that. Like, I was like, hmm. So
Yeah,
I was ready to listen.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, live in your calendar. So when he said that, I was just like Denise, like, what? What you talking about? And he said, well, when you live in your calendar, you are really taking that word compartmentalize to the truth. And that is, you're taking bits and pieces of your day and putting it out, compartmentalizing your day so that you are able to be where you need to be exactly at the times you need to be there. And so, you know, again, it's the lesson that just keeps teaching today. But taking those steps and looking at where you need to be in this moment, and because you're compartmentalizing it and living in your calendar, right? Making sure that you're exactly where you need to be and in those times that you set yourself, there you go. And Renee taught me how to get there even better because she color codes everything.
oh my
she
God, I do too. I
yeah.
do too.
she
Everything has a color.
yeah, everything has a color. And so you're going to be meeting with your team, it's a color. When you're going to be meeting with them individually, it's a color. When you are meeting with your supervisor, there's a color. So it's important that you compartmentalize, take those itty bitty steps to do
Mhm.
that. Before I get any further into that, I'm gonna do an important step that we need to do, and that's to acknowledge the audience.
Oh
Um,
yes, thank you, Jay. We it's been a please give us grace. It's been a so we've had some technical difficulties.
yeah, and so that was part of me trying to show up this morning too. I was like, "Oh my gosh, get this computer going! I need to get in there. I need to get in there." And it just the it I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit, but let's go down the list of comments today. Everybody is saying good morning. And so is so did Cassandra. Um,
Of
l-
course. Grand Rising, Cassandra.
Grand Rising,
Wherever
and
you are today in your travels, in an
right,
airport.
and she was, and she's actually the one to quickly remind us, hey, don't forget the comments, don't forget the
Mhm.
comments because it's
Oh no,
important,
we've never. We wouldn't.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, Dr. Marcia says, "Good morning, everyone." Obviously, Mama J, as she said,
Morning, Mama J.
she said, "Awesome, Jay." I guess
Hmm.
this was at the point I was coming clean.
Hmm. Well, we
um,
appreciate and honor you for doing that again. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot to be vulnerable on this camera, and I want to
oh man,
acknowledge you, right? Especially in today's climate, it's not a celebrated thing for a man to expose his emotions and be vulnerable. And I think Sister Denise and we all did a great job. Tammy included did a great job of just empowering you and letting you know we got you, we love you, we appreciate you, we see that you're on your way. We love that you identify the tools that are going to help you get there. And we're going to be right there with you along the path. So if you fall or fail, understand it's a learning experience. Take what you can out of it and keep going.
absolutely, absolutely. And
Absolutely.
you know, when you stop learning, when you stop learning, that's when there is a problem.
Absolutely.
That's when there's a problem. And a mentor of mine said many years ago, he said, "Look, there's only two things that are going to stop me from learning: myself and death." Here we go talking about death again.
Right.
but but I think the message kind of stays true, and that is, you can't don't do the things that's going to get you to that point where you're not going to be able to show up for yourself, learning and showing up for others. So that's still there. um
Absolutely.
Abdullah says, good evening from Bangladesh. So, and that's where Sister Cassandra is headed, in that direction, in that area. She is going to Bangalore. So, we wish her safe travels, obviously.
Absolutely. Safe
Um,
travels, sis.
Dr. Marcia says, very much so, very much so. I think she was just um, kind of accompanying Denise's message at the time that she was talking to me.
Yeah.
Um, Sister Cassandra says, "Absolutely, Denise."
Mhm.
So I'm feeling it.
Mhm.
Cassandra, thank you.
Pouring in that cup, Jay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
M- Um, Mama Joan, Mama J says, "That's right, Denise. Take care of you." And she had a bunch of hand claps like she always does.
Hmm.
Um, and then there was that little part in there. Um, and she said, "LOL, that's right, Denise." So she was just kind of making sure that her message was being received by me. And I'm right, because immediately following that, Cassandra said, "Tell him, Denise, receive it,
Hmm.
Jay." And that's right, Jay. LOL. And that's Mama J. And then she goes on to say, "I love the bond that the Fam Five has." And I told you that's what it was. Even after I said what I said. Um, Mirjana, I hope I'm saying that right. Threw up some emojis, praying hands, heart hands, and um, I think there's a shamrock in there for luck. Um, Mama J said, "That's good, Eric." So when you spoke and you were speaking to me, Mama J said, "That's good, Eric." Shelly says, "Oh, so beautiful, so much love between y'all, sister love, support, and blessings." And that's going out to us from Shelly. Um, yeah, Mijana said, "Fly and enjoy in flying." I believe that was going out to Sister Cassandra. Um, and Cassandra, I guess when Denise was saying that she had to dip out, she said, "Thank you, Denise." Gladys says, "Enjoy your weekend too." Um, Several emojis from Mirjana. I guess I got to get better glasses because I can't make out those emojis. um, and so she also he or she also says, "In mathematics, it is indicated." Okay, okay. Um, and when you were talking, Mom J said, "Thank, that's good, Tammy." Oh wow, yeah. I think when I was saying live in your calendar, Mirjana said, not good. Living your soul and body. I think that was meant to say live in your soul and body. Yes, message received on that point. Absolutely. It was just in the corporate world. They say live in your calendar, live in your email, right? So that you're able to receive messages and things like that. So there's all kinds of isms in the corporate world. So, but we also definitely have to live in your soul and your body. Absolutely. Um, Mirjana said red column when we're talking about the color codes. So um, makes total sense. David Jones, the metaverse guru says facts on facts. Jay, thank you. Cassandra says, "Hey fam, I'm on the plane headed to New York. Yeah, woohoo! It Yeah, absolutely. Safe travels
Safe
and
travels.
Yes.
safe travels. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Always,
Take pictures.
always. Yeah. Oh yeah. Take lots
Oh,
of pictures.
definitely take pictures.
Mirjana says always keep going, right? And that was in response to um, Eric when he was talking about moving forward. And Mama J says, "Yes, Eric, you guys did a great job restoring Jay. That's family. Absolutely, absolutely."
I'm
I
inviting
love
Jay to
this
come out and
love.
ground with me a little bit more as well. I'm sorry, Tammy. Did I cut you off?
No, I was just saying I'm loving all this love. I'm loving all of it. And I just want let me take a pause for a second. I know you're going through the messages, but I just want to say this. Just Eric was saying, we live in a world where vulnerability is not okay, especially from a man's perspective, right? It's not okay. I was actually speaking to a male friend of mine a while ago, and he was like, "Oh, vulnerability, that's weakness. That's why would why would you want to be vulnerable? That's weak." And I was like, wow, I can't believe somebody actually said that out loud. I know people believe it, but wow, it's shocked me to hear someone actually say it. So I want you to know how much you have blessed me by hearing you just be open and vulnerable and honest and truthful. There is so much strength in that and so much beauty in that. And we have our plans, it's Focus Friday, but maybe that wasn't the focus, right? Maybe the lesson was vulnerability. Maybe the lesson was forgiveness. Maybe that is the purpose of this today. God always has his hand on every single thing we do. We can have whatever plans we want, right? But God steps in and says, no, 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 that's not what this is about today. Maybe the world needs to understand how important it is to see a man come on here and be open and vulnerable and honest and loving, and then have forgiveness shown to him in an open forum, So I just wanted to say, my breath was taken away. So I just wanted to sit here and soak it in and listen to everything you were saying. But Jay, it was beautiful, and to hear Eric responding to you in kind and being like, "Listen, brother, we got you. It's okay. Nothing you did was inhuman. We are human, and it was okay." But what was beautiful about it and the message in it is how vulnerable you are, and that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. So kudos to both of you for standing up in that, as men and just being like, hey, this is okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be open. It's okay to be honest. So thank you for sharing that with all of us. And I'm sure that is going to bless a lot of people. And when that happened, I was like, okay, I can sign out now because I'm good for the I'm good for the day. Like that was amazing. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just had to say that because I was about to burst at the seams.
Thank you so much for acknowledging it. No, don't apologize. That's exactly why you're here. On purpose, for purpose.
Yeah.
You were here for a
Thank
reason. I'm so grateful and thankful you highlighted that point. It's so necessary in today's climate. It's so necessary in today's climate. And so thank you so much for acknowledging the humanity in men.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, absolutely. And that, yeah, there are many messages and many lessons that have come through, and I thank God for that, and
Mhm.
I'm thankful to the partnership and relationships we are building and continue to live in, not just our calendars. And so it's truly important and to me. And that's, yeah, you're right. Let's talk a little bit about that before we end our conversation today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is the power in vulnerability because that means you are willing to learn. That's a
Yes.
superpower. If
Yes.
you are not vulnerable, that means you are not taking that step to change, to pivot, to understand why you have come to that point where you are vulnerable. And so that's a huge lesson that human beings, not just men, let's just say it out there, human beings have a tough time when we talk about men, let's talk about the women who have to live up to that masculinity in the workplace, right? And so they shed that part of them that is innately part of being a mom, being part of having that female part of them of nurturing.
Hmm.
That's innately part of their DNA. It was encoded in their DNA. This is part of who they are, but we're told in society that they need to put that aside and let's help the business grow. Let's do everything we need to do in corporate society, and one of those things is to be masculine in a masculine world so that we can compete, right? We can compete with one another, between the male, the female parts of ourselves, right?
Yes.
um and let's not do that. Let's be honest with each other and let's be vulnerable in the times that we need to be, and allow it so that there's that opportunity to learn and to grow. And yeah, I totally agree, Tammy. It's a superpower. It's
Yes, it
not a
is.
weakness.
No.
Don't consider it as such, because these are the things that are going to allow you to grow. So don't don't stay stagnant in that fact, right? It's a fact until we change that perception into another fact. And the fact is it's a superpower.
It
let's
absolutely is.
let's definitely look at it in that perspective. So let's go back to the comments real quick and take a look. I know that Barry is with us today. Uncle Barry, you know, we have members of the Fam Five that's not part, that they don't have the moniker Fam Five there, but they're part of it. And one of those guys and one of the people that that ride with us is Barry. I I lovingly referred to him as Uncle Barry the other day, and he says my wife said we must not know about life insurance. And that's probably referring to the part where I said there's no monetizing in, in death. Um, yeah, he's a character, man, and he has ways of being comedic, but also having a insight and perspective. And that's why I call him Uncle Barry. Um, Going on, Denise wants to just kind of recognize the people who are making comments today, putting comments in. And she was saying to Redemptor, thank you. It is a beautiful day. Um, as a reminder to never give up. Mirjana says, tears are okay. Absolutely. And now, when one of the first major lessons that I had with my son was the day I said, it's okay to cry. You know, I told my, and he was 6, maybe going on 7, but I also told him, what I don't want is you whining. There's a difference. There's a difference.
There is a difference.
There's a
There is a
difference.
difference.
You know, crying, if you are hurt, how else will I know you're hurt if you are over there not crying, right? If you fall down and you scrape your knee, I need to know that you're in pain because I may not have seen you fall. But how am I going to figure that out if I don't see you cry? And the same thing goes for your emotions, right?
Hmm.
When you feel sad, it's okay to feel sad. I need to see it so I understand why you're sad. Maybe I can help you out, right? This is a conversation I had with my son, and my son is, married and in his 20s, and he's got 2 kids now, and I'm like, and he hugs me and he says, "I love you, Dad." Like, okay, son. A lot of times when you put out that hug and your boy goes, "Man, get off me, Dad. Get off me."
Right.
you know, this is my boy coming to me, and when we see each other, he lives 4.5 hours away from me now,
Hmm.
and when we see each other, he's quick to hug me. Now his hugs have gotten a little tighter because he's a little swollen in areas because
It's a little bit more of a squeeze.
so we had a conversation, you know, in his teens as he was going through, you know, those relationship issues that young high schoolers go through, right?
Right.
And he brought up that lesson, that very first lesson, the really deep one where we were talking about crying. And he said, so I'm coming to you, Dad, right now, and I'm crying. And you see the tears go down, and you're like, dang, son, man, I've been there. I've
Yeah.
been there. I've been there, but it's gonna take a minute. It I you know, Mom wasn't the first person I dated. It took it took me a minute and several times when I was in that moment to find my soulmate. My twin soul is what I call her. And my son was like, he said to me, one day, Dad, hopefully I'll have a relationship like you and Mom. And then I got I got misty eyed. I was like, dang, you know. Um, and it was a really good moment to bring everything back to where that first spark of that that deep conversation I had.
Mhm.
And it was just hearing my son all those years later come to that full circle of understanding.
Right, right.
And so I was like, that's my boy. That's my
Mhm.
boy. He talks, and so we talk every once in a while, and he's like that. He really is. He truly is. He's, you know, he still has those moments in front of his wife where he's like, I'm the man. I'm gonna handle this. I'm gonna handle this. That's him.
Of
That's him.
course.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
But in the moments where he does need to be vulnerable, he is. But don't get it twisted. That kid don't get on his bad side. And his bad side is messing with his family and messing
His
with his
family.
yeah.
Yeah.
You yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
beautiful. You're supposed to be protective of your family. And, listen, there's a range of emotions. So vulnerability covers all of that. If you're sad, be sad. If you're happy, be happy. If you're, you know, um, angry, be angry. It's how you project those feelings, but all of those feelings are okay. If you're upset, don't walk around with a smile on your face and pretend to be happy when you're not. That's not being vulnerable. It kind of going back to what you're saying, because you hit on something that's important, and I wanted to kind of, as a woman, touch on that. You talked about women in the workplace. So, you know this is a long conversation, but I will say this. You're right. And I think it's so many parts to it, because we're put in a corporate society that does not always welcome femininity, right? Especially in the boardrooms, and as you climb up the ladder, you're expected to become more rigid, less feminine. Um, and if you are, too feminine, sometimes that's seen as a weakness, right? Um, I totally disagree as a woman. I think being a woman is the most beautiful thing you can be. But of course, I'm biased, right? I mean, and you should take that feminine energy into every room you walk into, because it is a strength, it is not a weakness. And I do think some of my sisters do get lost and feel like we can't be vulnerable, we can't be open, we can't be, feminine, in these workplaces, because it's not expected. We have to show that we're rough and tough. We can hang with the boys, but I don't think that we have to trade one for the other. So to your point, Jay, I agree. I see that a lot as well. Um, but I think it's just something that we all have to work on, the vulnerability. The reason I like to see that come out for men is because I've been told by so many of my male counterparts that a man crying is not okay. Showing feelings or emotions is not okay. We live in a society where it's like, you're cool if you hang out with your boys all night, but if you hang out with your woman all night, that's like, oh, you're a sap. Why would you want to do that? It's like, so I think that's why it's so embraced when you see two gentlemen stand up and be like, I know it's okay to be vulnerable and to be open and honest and just share how I'm feeling in this moment, right? But I do agree with you on all sides. That's a lesson we have to learn, to be more open and honest with ourselves and each other. So thank you for pointing that out, because that is so important.
No, yeah, absolutely. I've been in the corporate world for a minute. I'm not that spring chicken. Um, uh, but yeah, I mean and I saw it all the time. And in the contact center world, there are a lot of women in business. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, I've had some colleagues who were cutthroat, and I was like, "Gee, why, Ooh, man, I don't,
Don't mess
yeah,
with her. Do
don't,
not mess with her.
yeah, vulnerability, whatever." What's that? What's that? But yeah, so I, but even in that, when it was just me and that individual having a one-on-one, there was definitely that vulnerability. Like, man, I've got to get this deadline. I've got to hit this mark. I've got to get more of this, and make sure I've got metrics in line this way. And I was like, oh wow. Oh wow, no wonder why you're coming off like that. No
Mm,
wonder why. And so, yeah, society has these expectations of us
yeah.
in our roles.
Yes.
And so, you know, let's not forget that, you know, the expectation should also be set on ourselves to make sure that we're in the right spot where we need to be and how we need to show up for our people. Which I learned today. Absolutely. uh, um, and so Denise said, Joan, yes, a nice reminder for all of us. Cassandra put up those hands. Um, and it also means you are willing to be truly seen. And I think this is when we were talking about being vulnerable. When you share your vulnerability, you share the core of who you are. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yep. And Mama J says, "Come on and make it plain, Jay," and a lot of emojis, hand emojis up. Yes, yes, ma'am, absolutely.
I know.
Um, Dr. New says, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. New. Good to see you."
Good
Mirjana
morning.
says, "Same situation here in Serbia." Wow, in
Wow.
Serbia. Wow, you're
Wow.
joining us from Serbia. Good,
Wow, that's
good,
beautiful.
good to see you from that part of the world. Thank you.
Thank
Um,
you. Serbia. Wow.
yes, yes,
That's
Serbia.
incredible.
Yep. Dr. New says vulnerability is strength and a superpower. She said it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, she's also saying Dr. New also says hashtag walk tall, everyone. Yes. Dr. Mirjana responding says Dr. New Trung walk tall. What is that meaning? So, and she responds. Dr. New responds to Mirjana. Be more loving, kind, and compassionate to yourself, and spread it to others. Um,
Absolutely.
I like that.
yeah, Dr. New says it's okay to not be okay, and Barry, he chimes in. Now he's been in on the government side helping businesses grow, so he knows a thing or two
Uncle
when he
Barry.
talks. Yeah, Uncle Barry.
Mhm.
Women business owners are the largest starters of business right now. Look at that.
That is true. That is,
There you go. There you go. Women are moving the economy.
Women are moving the economy.
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
And Marjana is saying something here. It's I apologize. I need to go. Wish you the best. Have a great weekend. No need to apologize. Like Denise said, if you need to be somewhere else and you need to do what you need to do, it's okay. It's okay. And Denise needed to be somewhere else in this moment, and that was fine with us because that's how she needs to show support for the people that are relying her in this moment in Grenada, where she is at, and she to
Continue.
continues to pour into that area of the world because she sees that she's able to make a positive impact on them. Yes, we'd like it to be stateside, absolutely.
Right.
But she is building connections and helping move the economy,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
move the economy right there in Grenada. And being part being in Grenada, she is having people actually contribute to the world economy
Wow.
in the economies she is in, right? And that's her message to the people that she has contact with. You can stay wherever you are in your local communities and still be part of the global economy,
Hmm.
right? So when Barry said what he said, he knew what he was saying because
Hmm.
that's exactly right. She is helping move the economy, the global
The
econ
global economy
the
Wow,
global economy, but also making an impact in the local economy
in the local
i-
community.
in Grenada. Absolutely.
Mhm.
that's
So
beautiful.
um,
Mm.
I think everybody has things they need to do today. This is the Sagittarius morning show. I don't want to make it the afternoon show as
We could go on. We could stay
well.
on here for a while.
We can stay on forever, and because of how we show up and we're aligning with one another in our messages and the things that we're seeing. And yes, absolutely, Mama J, Tammy is a welcome addition to us here.
Absolutely.
You,
Absolutely.
Oh, thank
you,
y'all so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Y'all have blessed me.
It has been
Like
a
seriously.
seamless fit. It has been a pleasure to have you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
yeah,
Eric. I appreciate y'all so much. I
yeah,
do.
and we already see the growth in you as far as you being on camera. I mean, let's
Oh
let's
yeah.
just let's just recognize that right there.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah. For sure.
you are showing up confident.
Hmm.
You've got your camera all steady and in the right spot, and you got the
Look at my
lighting.
background. I didn't
Yeah,
change my background.
yeah, your background exactly. I was gonna say, and the lighting
Hmm.
is on and
Hmm.
everything. Look at that. You see what I'm saying? This
And
is
this is my third morning in a row waking up at 7 or 6:30. You talking about focus,
Hmm.
the sum of small efforts day by day. This has not been. I'll take that back. It has been easy for me because it's something I wanted to do. And waking up to be here to talk to y'all, it has been a blessing. So it has really been an easy thing for me to do, to sit here and talk to all of y'all. It's just thank you again for allowing me to be here, and for noticing my growth in these last couple days. I couldn't have done it without y'all. Now I want to just sit on camera all day. Like, what else can we talk about? Let's fix the world. I think we got a lot of things we could say, but
Well,
thank y'all for being a
I
part of
would
it.
add too that you have, and I don't mean to cut you up, but I want to make sure I highlight how I believe in exactly what Jay said. You have really blossomed, like right before our eyes, from the first day to just now recognizing Jay for his ability to be vulnerable with us in the audience. I think that, like I said, it has been a seamless fit and it's incredible. I look forward to anytime you're able to join us, and really commend you on accepting this challenge, because you did let us know that it was going to be a challenge for you, but you
Hmm.
really embraced the challenge, and put yourself out there, and you've been incredible. I really admire your ability and courage to really take on this challenge, and you've done an immaculate job, really.
Thank you so much. That has made my day. Like you don't even know. It's been tough for me to want to be in front of the camera. So for y'all to see me and recognize that means the world. It really does. Because this was something I was like, I don't know, Cassandra. I think I should just be in the background for a while, but but here I am. So amongst amazing people. So again, I thank you, Eric, for that. I really appreciate it. I
yeah,
really do.
we
So
we appreciate you. And let's look at the comments here and see what's coming out. Um, Dr. New says we are all one. She also says, "Have a wonderful Friday, everyone." So, absolutely, we will also have a wonderful weekend.
yes,
Um, I'm gonna be working on my book
and getting some rest in
and,
between.
and getting some rest. Absolutely,
Yes, yes.
Cassandra Terry's. She had her hands clapping, a lot of them. Um, and she also said to you, Tammy, "Come through, Tammy, come through." And she's right. She's right. She is coming through.
Mhm.
And she also said focused, intentional, and committed, right? And that's how
Yeah,
we are. That's how we are for
love
each
it.
other. And you are fitting into that. You are focused, you're intentional, you're making it a point to be here for us, but also for yourself. For
Absolutely.
yourself. And you are growing and you have grown. And I'm looking at it right in front of me. And that's a testament to you, right?
Oh.
That we're able to see it. Um and Kid Sanders says, no background for you, Tammy.
You see my background back here. I worked on this.
Yes, yes, you did. And I saw it. I was like, look at that, it's lighted. Everything's up there.
Mhm, mhm.
And it looks good. It really does. So
Thank you.
I'm truly honored that you're with us. Absolutely. And here we go again. I'm on it's like them southern goodbyes and never ends.
Right. Like that is so true.
Oh yeah, one more thing, one more again. One more again.
I
And
got
let
one
me
more thing to say. Just one
yeah,
more.
let me go grab the iced tea, the sweet tea real quick.
Right.
I'll be right back. But but
Oh, that's
but
my family 100%. Yeah.
all right, everybody. This is gonna be for real, for real. The end of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We truly love y'all and thank you for showing up for us. But don't forget, in the lesson that we learned today, focus on
Yeah.
yourself. Be intentional for yourself as well, so that you can show up 100%.
Yes.
100% for the people that do rely upon you. And look at me. I'm 49 years old and I still need to learn some things, right? Be vulnerable,
Hmm.
absolutely, because in that vulnerability, that shows that you are willing to learn. That's a superpower.
Yes.
So, everybody, have a good day. Have a good weekend. Thank you for joining us here on the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. And Cassandra, as we say again, safe travels. Take those pictures and enjoy that trip. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody, take care. Just want to make sure that everybody is able to understand that today was a good lesson for all of us. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pitch it to uh, our man who's supposed to be talking here. Let me see if I can get it to work. Here we go with these. Oh goodness gracious! Come on, man. Let's let it work. Let's let it work. Let me see if it'll come up. We're supposed to have an exit right now. Music playing
I can
and
sing it if you would like me to. I can hum.
see that?
Let's
You
go.
see
We
that?
can sing it. I'm with you, Tammy. We can sing it.
Right. We can sing it. We can
Oh
freestyle
man,
this thing.
there it is.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, let's play it again.